I grew up in the western part of Maryland. I have hunted all my life. I have been in Boy Scouts from the age of 11. Before that, in Cub Scouts and Webelos. Been around the world in the Navy after I left, once I turned 18. And I've went on.
What year is that?
I turned 18 in 76. I did 1 North Atlantic, 4 Med cruises, 3 Caribbeans, and 1 Westpac. I have seen much of the world. During the time while I was in the service, I actually saved 3 different people's lives. Kept one from being shot and 1 from being stabbed. Because one of them was a corpsman, first-class corpsman, and he got shot in the shoulder, below the arm, far enough in that it did not rip the arm off. And he was bleeding out, and gave him morphine and cauterized the wound. And the other 2 were Marines, and one had a leg wound from shrapnel. The other one had a gut wound that piece went up and got the aorta, which is the part that actually sends all the blood through the heart. I had my fingers, or my hand, up inside his chest. No gloves on, no alcohol on my hands, I was there, and I had to hold him in that position, and I had to hold myself in that position, so that the blood continued to go through it and through his body instead of pour out through his chest. Don't ask me if it was God looking over my shoulder. I certainly think it was. God had to be standing there guiding my hands to do whatever, because I don't know why I stuck my hand up in his chest, and I took a blind stab to reach up for the aorta. A blind stab. And it's like, then blood stopped flowing, so I didn't dare let go. Guy popped up on a dune and went to shoot him with what I call a P4 scope. It's a 1-to-4 power scope on a rifle, and I shot him at about 175 yards away with a rifle I never shot before in my life, and shot him right through the head. So, and the thing is, I tried to drop the rifle fast enough so that the LT didn't see me, but unfortunately the LT looked right at me and goes, when he got over to me, he goes, that's 3 of us at least you've sent home alive, including me. And his wife, when we got back, was at the pier, and he introduced me to her, and she grabbed a hold of me and hugged me. She goes, "You sent my husband home to me."
That's awesome.
So those 2 gentlemen, the enlisted one is now the Master Chief of the Command of SEAL School. The officer, which was the lieutenant at the time, is now a full bird captain about to put on Rear Admiral. They send their greetings and said they want their pet trained completely. So every night after class, I had 2-1-1 training for almost 10 weeks. 2 SEALs running you to death is not a pleasant thing. I crawled home at night, every night. My wife, which I hadn't been married too long, looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Just trust me, they're training me."
Now, what I think everyone else wants to know is, how did you get to here?
I got here because Obama shut down hiring. I had a job that was an $80,000 a year job in a car. 3 days before I started, he froze hiring. So I lost the job. I even tried 2 more times and got shut down 2 more times on the verge of being hired. So I did the only thing I could do, which was go to McDonald's, go to work, and try to find a place that I could survive and live. That's how I got here. I worked for 4 years for McDonald's. Never got a raise, never got a review. 4 years. I got tired of it. So something said it was just time to stop, and I did.
So, and then after that,
how did you? Well, I had already wound up here. I was actually homeless for 4 years working for them, and they never knew I was homeless. Because I didn't make enough money to try to get housing. So it's like, I stayed here. I found this place here about 4 years ago, somewhere thereabouts. I stayed in the shelter the when I first came out in January into February into March, and in April 1 it closes. After that, I came out here. I've never gone back to the shelter as far as to stay in the winter.
Yeah.
I've stayed out here.
Yeah.
I didn't even have heat the last 2 winters in my tent.
Really?
Okay? That's how tough I am. I know how to survive. I know how to do.
Yeah.
I walked through the mountains for years, and I never got cold. I never froze.
Yeah.
Okay? I was taught how to hunt. I was taught how to fish. I was taught how to build different things. Build a deer snare, rabbit snare, a fish trap. All
Yeah.
these things I know how to do.
Yeah.
Okay? So basically, I'm a little bit like a mountain man. What as far as...
When you were making $80K a year,
No, that's the job I was going to start. I never actually got to start it.
some kind of defense contractor?
It was go to work over on Belvoir. Okay, I was going to be working electronics, which I know.
Okay.
So I was going to be in the electronics field. I am quite versatile in that. I know how to do burglar alarm, fire alarm. I know how to do radio equipment. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I know how to do. I know how to do nurse call systems. Everything you can just about think of in the electronics field.
Yeah.
I've
Gotcha.
worked on it. I mean, can make cables up. You know, if you tell me what you want, I can figure out how to make the cable and make it work.
Yeah.
You know, problems. I don't use drugs. I've even stopped drinking years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't even drink. I have no criminal record of any kind.
Yeah.
Never did.
Yeah, mina hashenia nia. Mene hashine wa tini India, no chania wa na. Ni hashine wa. This is in nia wana tai. Yeah, no.
Now, so you understand one other part, and you have this straight. She is Hayakawa Apache. I am Mescalero Apache. The dialect is basically the same with slight accents difference on
Really?
syllables and things as that. So it's like I have a great basis of understanding what she says, and she has the great basis of understanding what I say.
Yeah.
Okay? So we can speak in that.
That's awesome.
That is not the only language I know. I also know Sioux, enough to get around with that, Delaware, and Mohawk. And I can speak a little Zuni, which is out west. And
Is this from childhood? When?
no, I've learned this from several people who got around me
Okay.
on some of this.
Wow.
And
Amazing. That's
got
cool.
some of it. Other parts were taught later on, and life.
Yeah.
So I told you I've been around the world.
Yeah.